Two big stories this week was Rolling Stones and Trump being found guilty on all 34 charges. So those are the two big ones.
So what happened on Rolling Stone?
You might as well unplug this. I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you that right now. But and I read every word of that Rolling Stone article. It was
Rolling Stone
long.
article scared you up.
No, it's just, they scared me up. So yeah, y'all take it away. Fuck that.
All right, so give us some
Mel.
Okay, so
article.
Rolling Stones released an article on Tuesday, I believe. So like Tuesday night around like 11 o'clock. And it was a lengthy article that just basically goes into the history of Diddy, like lengthy history.
Sean Combs
goes back to his Howard University days. And, you know, one of the main takeaways is his propensity for violence, and specifically violence towards women is just kind of, you know, peppered throughout the story. And another takeaway is just like what we discussed on the pod last week was just how people, you know, lived in fear of retribution, fear of getting fired, just basically fear of just being around him, enabling his behavior, enforcing his behavior, and just how fame and being power hungry just kind of fueled his worst characteristics and attributes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically it, and it's just very detailed. They asked 300 people to participate in the article. They got over 50 people to participate in it. Some people wanted to remain anonymous. Other people were like, you can use my motherfucking name. I said it. I stand on it. And then it goes into details about all of the current cases that are pending right now. Talks a lot about Cassie, obviously. But it paints a really cohesive, vivid picture of Puff. And it's like, it's really complex because, you know, as we discussed earlier, you know, we have the memories of this person who elevated himself to, you know, an icon in this industry. And it's just, you know, we discussed, are we still going to continue to listen to his music? But then it's undeniable to see all of the things that he was accused of. I mean, like, it's like, everything seems to be true. Every single rumor that we had heard.
And even if they are not true,
it's plausible
now
at this
it
point.
make you be 90-10.
Yeah, it's because before it seemed like people just ODing. I'm like, all right, they just added some shit just for the sake of just being salacious. But now it's like, oh, hold up. Some of this shit it's a pattern to your movement, and there could be some fact. We've heard the stories about things that's happened in the past with Biggie's case and Pac and Sean and all this other shit. And then when you start hearing people finally feel able to talk, you be like, oh, wait a minute, this nigga really might be Big Red, man.
The Biggie thing was really just where my jaw was kind of like on the floor, because it alleges that Biggie was on his way out the door, that he wanted to leave Bad Boy Records, and they were actually in a fight over his publishing. So they were really on the outs with each other at the time of his death. And so there's a lot of insinuations about Puff's, you know, participation, you know, in his passing. And then we all know what happens when Big dies. That's when or Puff's star as an artist rises to the stratosphere.
Yeah. There was a story about Kirk Barrows suggesting, you know what, we should make Biggie the cover of the Rolling Stone cover around that time when No Way Out was coming out, and Puff was very adamant, like, no, like, nigga, this is my moment. Like,
My album's coming out in July.
So
he's already gone. Yeah.
I wanted to ask y'all what y'all thought about that part.
I think it's good business if you're trying to propel yourself to be the #1 person on your label. I think it's fucked up when you just, a big part of why people are going to support this project is because your man passed.
The first thing that I thought of when I read that part was it the VMAs stage where he was in all white? And it's the song with Faith.
I'll be missing you,
and he's just dancing around the stage. So that was exactly what popped into my head at that moment. I was just like, he completely capitalized off of his death. Like, it's crazy, and he's spinning. He's controlling the narrative about their relationship, knowing full well that it wasn't what everybody naturally like thought that it was.
I don't like that, because he ain't the only one that did that. One. The Lox put out "We'll Always Love Big Papa" right after that. It's a tribute song at the time. You got his wife on the record. He was signed to my label, so it is still putting a tribute out to. Even if we were on the outs, you're not here anymore. I can honor you still. You know, we saw when Easy passed, how certain members of NWA still showed him love, and they weren't necessarily in the right space when he passed. It's like sometimes a death can make you just realize.
Yeah, but how much does the Lox gain in just making a tribute song in comparison to the nigga who owns your pub and the nigga who
and profiting off of your death,
directly off of your death?
I don't feel so much about the performance. The cover is, to me, is ugly because if you really love this person in the manner that you say you love them, you would sacrifice you being on the cover for them in their tribute from Rolling Stone, especially back in the what was that, 97, 98?
97.
Right?
Because Pop was 97.
Like, Rolling Stone wasn't the most accepting of us. You know what I'm saying? So to put this big rapper on the cover of the Rolling Stone magazine in the 90s
It was a big deal.
is a big deal.
It is.
So instead of me letting my man that just passed away be on the cover, I'm going to take the cover instead. To me, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
I think
the point that you making is why I don't necessarily agree with what Ice is saying, because we have hindsight now.
Well, I'm saying in the moment.
Well, in the moment, nobody sees anything wrong.
and nobody questioned it. Everybody
That's
thought.
what I
might not have known.
That's what I'm speaking of.
Everybody
That's what I'm
looked at it
saying.
as like an altruistic, moment where he's mourning with us. But in hindsight,
I always thought that things were too quiet on the matter. I always thought that. I always thought that when Biggie's daughter was selling some T-shirts or some shit one time. What else happened to where? And you just never really saw enough of Biggie's mom and Puff, if y'all as tight as y'all say. And then I was young. As I got older, I started to hear the rumors of Biggie wanting to leave.
I remember hearing them before
Bad
this article.
boy.
Pac said that, though.
I don't remember him saying that.
Pac said Big wanted to leave. Puff was bullshitting. He tried to get him a deal on Interscope. Pac said he tried to get him a deal on Interscope.
So in hindsight, if all of this is going on behind the scenes while you're simultaneously trying to build a solo music career as someone that's never been an artist, solo artist, yeah, you have to look at it all with kind of like a skewed eye. And listen, my skewed eye reading that started long before Biggie even entered the picture. I love that Mel brought that up. But what he did when he got to fucking Uptown around Heavy D and all them niggas, the way he was showing his ass around these music professionals that was running shit at the time, for those people to say, hey, get this nigga the fuck out of here. And for Andre Harrell, who I know that's my man, rest in peace, Andre Harrell.
Rest in peace.
For him to not even have a say enough to hold it down, it must have been bullshit going on.
That's true.
Now, from that, and I'm just imagining there's a lot of bullshit going on in 90, 91, 92, but from that, Puff puts out What's the 411?
Yep.
So like, damn,
He ingratiates himself.
What a bounce back. What one of the best albums ever you bounce back with. So right there you see the beginning of the dilemma of, oh shit, this nigga's rambunctious, running around doing fuck shit. How do we put a stop to it, get him out of this building?
Fuck, here's amazing.
But he's delivering.
Yeah.
But What's the 411 comes, Jodeci comes, fuck, now shit is coming. The next part of that is where my brain get to working, because it was that moment where he got that big money from Clive.
Arista.
The maniac that they paint him to be, like the maniacal mission that he was on, getting ousted, producing these great albums, and now landing over here with Clive.
Well, the Stax documentary, did you finish it?
No, not yet.
Clive had some shit with him too. Yeah, okay. You can finish. It's public fodder. Watch the doc.
Yeah.
But I was connecting things.
Yeah.
Is my point. I ain't saying it. But yeah. So I'm like, damn, this is making a lot more sense if I'm just going back to 91, moving forward, right?
Yeah. Piggybacking off what you said about Puff and
Miss Wallace.
Yeah, Miss Wallace not really having any real meaningful kind of relationship afterwards. She's in the article, and she's quoted as saying, "I hope I see Sean Combs one day, and the only thing I want to do is slap the daylights out of him, and you can quote me on that." So
That matters.
That speaks volumes.
that's
matters.
yeah.
Loud.
Yeah, it matters.
That
is
speaks
loud.
volumes.
Yeah.
It matters.
Even though she still ain't telling us. But
No.
she don't have to.
It matters.
Right.
Nah,
She's- she's telling us.
And what she's telling us is he know.
But even
You know
that,
what I'm saying?
I
That's
haven't
her
been
and him.
done right. That's what that's saying. I haven't been done right. My son hasn't been done right, or maybe my son's kids haven't been done right. You get what I'm saying? Like you said, his daughter was selling T-shirts.
She said more in that article, and I didn't get that from that. She said more in the article where she almost said where they had a decent relationship at some point. I took I want to slap the shit out of him, like,
Over the Cassie shit.
oh, well,
Or as a mom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, as a mom, like, I want to slap the shit out of you because you know better type shit. I took that as that. I didn't take it as I want to slap the shit out of you because of how you did. Yo, there's only a few people that I really want to hear from that I feel can really give us what Big perception was of Puff at that time. And it's the people that was closest to him that I feel he might have confided in or even shared some of that frustration with. It might be C's, and it might be
Safe.
maybe is it D-Rock? What's his name?
D got And
Those people. Those people. The people that we know to be close to him in that way. Those are the people that I really want to get a conversation from. If they're not going to talk, then I just don't want to really assume where Big stood with Puff because they seem to be thick as thieves. That could all be industry shit. But
We've
at
seen
the end of the day,
Be the other
I've
way.
never heard those people, and those people still stood close to Puff. All of them. They all did.
But did they stay close to Puff out of necessity? You
Cool,
get what I'm saying? Like
cool.
sometimes we got to do it. I said this before. Like if somebody's feeding you, you can't necessarily go against them, especially publicly, if they feeding you, because now you run the
off,
risk
yeah.
of starvation. You get what I'm saying? So
But that's why I could appreciate if they decide to want to go in and speak, because I feel like if they do speak at this point, they feel like, okay, there's no necessity here.
He can't
Even though
hurt
it's
me no
whack to
more.
have to, but there's no necessity. He can't hurt me. He can't stop me. Now we at a point where, you know what? The world needs to know the real side of what Big was feeling. So unless it come from them, I don't really want to assume or care about what anybody's going to say.
I think some of that is a crock of shit, though, that people just say, right? Like, because
which piece?
this industry keeps secrets.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well-
It's built on a code of silence.
This entire industry, yeah, I totally agree with that, right? So I'm listening, and yeah, absolutely right. People were silent and so forth and so on. However, shit, by 97, Puff was where culture was happening.
What? Spearheading.
That's an
the culture.
understatement.
Yes.
That's an understatement.
That's an understatement.
It was an understatement.
So, yeah, niggas is being quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like hip hop is not where hip hop is today if there's no Sean Combs.
And I don't want to say it like I'm defending him. I just
Nah,
It's a fact.
this
No,
shit-
it's not. You're not. That's
Yeah,
just
I'm certainly not trying to.
Yeah. So, but if you spearheading the culture, people are seeing a different type of success, a different type of notoriety. Like hip hop was a genre down here. Puffing them and their success and their loud, lavish lifestyles and all of that shit is what kind of catapulted hip hop to a mainstream art form. Like that, it
yeah.
played a part.
And niggas wasn't seeing money. Like,
Niggas wasn't seeing-
people
yeah,
getting
yo.
money like that.
Yeah,
until
yo.
then.
Like seriously.
Those stories of him at college, throwing the parties, pardon me, getting violent, getting physical in public, they painted a wild, wild pic.
It really
They
did.
did.
It really did.
Neutral Budden.